Hey, Carl. Kelly Ortberg, thank you for joining us today. Let's start with Q2 results. Better than expected, a much smaller than expected loss. You're improving your cash burn substantially, a lot of that because deliveries were increasing. Can you get the cash flow positive in the third quarter, or is that further out?
Well, we've always said that we want to get cash flow positive in the second half. Certainly want to finish the fourth quarter with positive cash flow so we get into 26 with this cash burn turned around. So that's still our plan to do. We have a one-time potential big payment in the third quarter associated with the DOJ settlement, so that's yet to go. But I do feel confident in our fourth quarter turning to positive cash flow.
In the second quarter, you essentially are at a production rate for the MAX of close to 38 per month, right, which is the cap set by the FAA. And you've said, look, we want to get up to 42 per month. When do you ask the FAA for that approval?
So soon. We're going through the process. Once we've gotten to 38, we want to be stable. We've got a set of key performance indicators with the FAA that we're monitoring to make sure that the production line is stable. Once we do that, we'll go through a process where we sit down with the FAA, get approval, and move to the next rate. We certainly want to get that done here in the second half of the year.
Third quarter, or is it more likely you can't put a time frame on it?
We will be working with the FAA in the third quarter for sure.
Let's talk about the EU tariffs, and then I know Jim's got a quick question, but with regard to the EU tariffs, the 0 for 0 inclusion in terms of airplanes and aircraft parts not being tariffed, how critical is that for you guys and with all of your customers worldwide?
Yeah, I mean, it's super critical. And, you know, the administration is doing a really, really good job of, as they're negotiating these bilaterals, taking into account the implications on the aerospace industry. So these 0-0 deals are really important for us. And in fact, the latest deals in the last couple of weeks have given me more confidence in our ability to manage through this tariff environment.
Jim, I know you have a question.
Yeah, Kelly, a lot of countries seem to want to curry favor by saying, you know what, we're going to put some orders in with Boeing. When I saw, first of all, I knew you had a lot of business that you take product from Japan. I was worried about tariff. Looks like that's okay. But you're telling us basically that these orders will be converted. You can make a lot of money. People should get in line.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these orders are great improvements to our overall backlog. Now, we obviously have to increase our production rates to meet that demand, and that's what we're really focused on doing. I will say from an input tariff perspective, the deal with Japan is very important because that's one of the largest importers that we have for some of our product, particularly on the 787 program. So I like the way this tariff situation is playing out. It's good for our business. It's good for aerospace, the aerospace industry in the U.S., going to create great jobs. And I think that's what the administration's focused on doing.
Okay, so Kelly, also, not to rain on the parade, but I got worried about this, the defense, the labor issue. I thought we were through the labor issues. Could this derail you?
No, I don't think this is going to derail us. Look, I think you have to put this in context. It's 3,200 machinists that we have working on primarily our fighter and our weapons programs in St. Louis and St. Charles. Juxtapose that to our last fall, 30,000 machinists in our commercial program. So it's much smaller in scope, and this is something we'll work through. This isn't going to derail our recovery.
Kelly, you've got two MAX models, the Dash 7, which is the smallest version, and then the stretch version, the Dash 10. You're not going to have those certified this year, and you've officially said in your note today, you said, look, we're pushing that certification expectation out to next year. How tricky is this problem with the engine anti-ice solution in terms of finding a solution? How tricky is that right now?
Well, it's proved to be a little more tricky than we thought. I would have forecasted that we'd be through that design work right now. It has proven a little more difficult. We have several solutions that we're still working to finalize, and that's why we've decided to move the certification into next year. This is the critical path for the certification of those two models. So we're working keenly on trying to get that design nailed so that we can move on with the finalization of the
there's going to be some investors who will watch this and they'll say, we've heard this before regarding MAX certifications. Well, we're going to push it out another quarter. We're going to push it out another year. How confident should they be that you will get this certified, these two planes certified next year?
Well, I've said these development programs are difficult. There's no silver bullet in completing the development programs. We're working real hard on doing that. I think our engineering team has several solutions that they're going to work through. It's just a matter of getting that done and then getting through the cert process. So we're still forecasting to get that done here next year.